Hello, and thank you for watching this video and tuning in. This is our Collingwood update for parents and community members who are interested to find out what is happening with Scouts in Collingwood. So I'm going to tell you all about that just now. A little bit of an agenda really quick, some greetings, some overview about our current Scouting community at large, the plan for Scouting in Collingwood specifically, ways you can take part, and different things about volunteering and that kind of stuff as well. Okay, Scouting in Shining Waters. So right here, we are Shining Waters Council, which is this big region, as you can see, with all the red dots, all the way up to the tip of Tobermory here and across to this edge of Algonquin Park and down to Steeles Avenue and across. So we are actually home to, right now, over 1,000 volunteers and and nearly 3,500 youth members across our council. And council is basically just a territory that manages scouting, in that territory, for lack of a better word. So that is, and there's 20 of them across the country. So Collingwood would fall into our Shining Waters Council. A little bit about Scouting and Scouts Canada. You may know that we are co-educational and we are here for both girls and boys and children of all genders and of all abilities and of everything. So we are totally inclusive. We want children from all walks of life to be able to join us and take part in our program. So I just have that in mind to share. Especially if you're parents of children who need special help, especially at school and that sort of thing, if they happen to require some modifications, if they have autism, if they have ADHD, our program is certainly well aligned to meet their needs and to help them have a lot of fun. So please know that we are accepting of all youth. Who am I? So my name is Nicole, and I am part of the Council Key 3, and my team and I lead basically the operations for our council and serving Collingwood. So as well as all the surrounding communities. So I actually I'm a staff member, but I work with two volunteers. One is a youth member, one is a over 18 member. They can actually both be youth if they would like, in terms of when we recruit them, but because we do like this to be a youth-led program. But with my volunteer partners and other folks helping us out, we basically help all the groups in Shining Waters Council to get what they need for our volunteers to be able to really thrive in creating those environments for our kids to have. So that's what we're all about. Collingwood. All right. You may already know this. Collingwood did have a little bit of a spike in population between the years of 2016 and 2021. So that has certainly lent itself well to encouraging demand for programs for youth. Naturally, of course, this is a bit dated because this is based on the last census. So, and based on that data as well, we know that there's about 3,300 kids living in Collingwood at the time between the ages of 0 and 14. So some of those zero-year-olds will soon be approaching Beaver Scout age, which is 5 to 7. So those are all things we're keeping in mind and understanding we have demand here. Okay, so where are we now? We have been at this for a while, and I'm really pleased to be able to say that we have now 3 parents who have come forward and are currently being onboarded in order to facilitate the Beaver Scout program, which is fantastic news. This is something we've really been waiting for. So this will enable us to soon be able to open, and I'll have a little bit more about what that actually looks like. So those three parents, parent volunteers, are currently doing the onboarding, and which consists of some screening and some training, as you can appreciate. Because we do work with youth, we have pretty rigorous screening process, which I'll describe a little bit later. One parent has stepped forward to help with Cub Scouts, but before we can speak more about that, in terms of when that might open, we will need to have some commitment from other folks as well to come forward. But that is also in motion and something we really hope to get off the ground as soon as possible as well. So if you'd be interested in helping out with Cub Scouts, that's 8 to 10-year-olds, please come forward. I'm happy to help you with that and talk some more. All right, next steps. I'm sure this is a big question. I know parents work really hard to keep their schedules all aligned for children and between work and kids activities and your own activities and that sort of thing. So I know that the meeting night and location is going to be of interest. We have not confirmed that yet, but that should be coming in the next month or so. So we'll be able to communicate that as soon as possible. Also looking forward to completing the onboarding for our Beaver Scout volunteers, and then once that's done, then we can actually open registration. So once the onboarding is complete, registration can open. We'll communicate a little bit more about dates and times as well. So what else do we need? What else do we need? It'd be great to have some more people if they're able to step forward to help with Cubs, because it'd be great to be able to have the youth of Cub age to also have that opportunity that the Beaver Scouts will be able to hopefully get. And then any additional help you would like to give if you were perhaps a person that works better at, you have some fundraising, you'd like to learn fundraising, even if it's something you don't know about, but you'd like to learn more about. Fundraising's a big one. Someone to work the bank account and the books, things that help a group from the back end of things, but really are important to ensuring that a group is healthy and can thrive. Those are folks that work on the group committee and they support the operations of the group. So if you'd be interested in something like that, that will be great to help us as well. How can you help? Like I said, join as a volunteer. Beaver Scouts, even though we have 3, we would always take more. 4 or 5 is absolutely more optimal than 3 because that gives us a little bit more wiggle room. And it gives everyone a little bit of a break too. For the folks that will be kind of doing it weekly. Please keep spreading the word, help with networking and passing along ideas for partnerships and program ideas in the community. So we'd really love to be able to connect with folks in the community to see what opportunities might be possible for the kids in our program in Collingwood. Okay, so when do we expect weekly program to begin? So it is expected that September we will be able to say we're going to meet every week at this place at this time for Beaver Scouts. Our intention would be, however, that we would get going as soon as possible and host something in the summertime so that those new Beavers and new Beaver Scouters who are also volunteer and Scouter is an interchangeable thing. You'll start to hear us say this a little bit more, but the volunteers in our scouting parlance is Scouter. So once they kind of get going, we really like to host some stuff in the summertime to get everyone kind of comfortable and used to those routines, and we're going to be working with the special program specialist as well to get everyone going too. So we're looking forward to that. Something about how we are going to communicate once registration is open. What is going to happen is if you're on a wait list for Beavers, we will tell you the day before that we are opening registration tomorrow. So you would have a pre-notice that was happening. And then the next day you would get an email from Scouts Canada that says a spot has opened, and then they'll hold the spot actually for 48 hours. So you will get that spot for 48 hours, at which point if you don't respond or register, it will cycle through again and you might get another chance if we go through the entire wait list and no one else registers, but that would be our opportunity to get a hold of a spot, essentially. So we'll give you plenty of notice, maybe even more if possible, but we'd really like to do this as soon as possible, so we'll let you know. But just to give you a sense that it will be through email, and to please keep an eye out. Some important notes about registration. As we are almost in May right now, the registration that we would hopefully have you register for in the very near future would take you through to the end of the calendar year, so the end of December. Registration for 2025 calendar year will open in September, and everyone who is a current member, which would probably be your children who are on the wait list who will be getting a spot, will open once again. So that will open for you for next year. So just in terms of timing, I wanted to share that. So you are prepared for those dual registrations this year. But then next year, you'd be totally set in terms of your registration from January to December. And you wouldn't be asked to register, of course, again until September 2025. So And certainly if there are any barriers you might have when it comes to funds or needing some help, just let us know. We have so many ways to help support kids take part that we certainly don't want funds to be a barrier. And we have lots of ways to make that happen. So just let me know so we can arrange that for you ahead of time. Especially if you have perhaps many children in your household who are taking part all at once and having to pay registration 2 times in 1 year. I can understand that might be difficult for lots of families. So just let me know. I'm happy to help with that. Okay, so I do want to share this really cool thing, which is this very special offer for new volunteers. So if you want to join us now is a really great time because what we're going to offer you is actually free membership for your kid for the remainder of this whole year. You get to join the other like-minded volunteers in this really good new thing we're trying out with you're going to get additional support from a program specialist. We're actually going to work with you for a few different things throughout the summer, so we get that immersive experience of learning and really getting that confidence. It's going to help you feel really great about stepping into this role. All expenses paid. We're hoping to do a weekend camping trip, which will also be a really cool milestone for yourselves as new volunteers and to get to do that adventure with your kids too. Uniform and any other onboarding costs are always covered by this in this initiative too. So we do have one course which is called Respect in Sport, which costs $30. We cover that off the top. We have a special code that we would give you so you wouldn't even go out of pocket. So we don't want anyone to go out of pocket on any of this. We don't want money to be a barrier at any point. So we want to make this really easy for families to take part in. And exclusive swag, because this is going to be really cool to be able to reopen scouting in town into this wonderful, vibrant community that has such a haven for outdoors, for especially outdoor activities with all the amazing trails and I mean, gosh, there's just so many things, so many awesome things we could be doing with our kids. And yeah, so that's the big offer for you if you'd like to join us now. We can certainly talk about other if again I said cost is a barrier, so if there's anything else that you might require to help you along, just let me know. I'm definitely open to hearing what it is you might need. If your kid needs a uniform, that's another thing we can talk about. We have funds for those sorts of things. So again, money should not be a barrier to children taking part or volunteers taking part. So that's what we're hoping to do. So I really hope this is enticing and that you'd like to join us as well for Beavers or Cubs. And yeah, so just let me know. And I'm gonna just let's see here. So you can this is it, time well spent with your kids. You know, I could talk for hours about how wonderful this has been for myself as a volunteer. Um, my children are now 14 and almost 12, and they've been in the movement since they were both 5. So it's been really great for us. I've been with them. Well, I started with them as a Beaver Scout volunteer, as a Beaver volunteer when they are Beavers, and I haven't left Beavers because that seems to be my favorite. So it is great. I mean, you can speak to any volunteer about how meaningful it is to do this with your kids, and they will tell you that it is just a really lovely way for you to both learn and do new things together. And be part of your community and meet new people and just get out there and be engaged is really fun. So if you'd like to tap out now, I'm going to go through some nuts and bolts just regarding scouting in general and then also what it takes to be a volunteer. And that's basically it. So I'm going to keep going. If you want to stick around, please do. I'm happy to, but at any point you are welcome to email or call me. My email address is nicole.donadio@scouts.ca, nicole.donadio@scouts.ca. And my number is 289-383-4717. Okay. All right. So what is Scouts all about? So we call our program the Canadian Path. So really what this is all about is we really create this well-rounded program. What we mean by that is we're not always doing the same type of activity all the time. We're doing a variety of things. And this variety is really what builds that well-roundedness, that kind of kid is learning multiple things and experiencing being a community member and being in scouting in different ways. So that gives them confidence, that makes them feel capable, and then they become better prepared for success in the world. Okay. And essentially, scouting is all about built on these sort of four main elements. Youth led. What we mean by youth led is we give a lot of decision making responsibilities to the youth. So what that looks like for Beavers is we are generating ideas from them. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? Some bigger ideas, but it also goes right down to the little ideas. So how do you want to do this? And really kind of our job as volunteers is to really get them thinking about these things and coming up with ideas, and then we take those ideas and we create the program that they will do and facilitate that thing. So that's what youth led is about. And as they get older, of course, they will take more responsibility for actually being more and more hands-on in the execution of that, whatever that is that will look like. So great program. We do a plan, do a review. We do that at the staff level. We do that at every level. We make a plan. We do the thing. Then we review, and on and on. Adventure. Yes, we like our kids to have lots of opportunities. That's where you see these pictures of kids rock climbing, camping, canoeing. That's a very important thing that we want to continue to make happen for kids. And scouting is a really great place to do that. And then spices. Spices just means, what we're doing in our program covers a lot of things, right? So all sorts of things, ways of being, ways of experiencing, as I said. All right. And again, I mentioned before about program areas. There are 6 of them, and we really want the kids to be planning things and selecting activities from these 6 different areas. Doesn't matter how old they are. If they're Beavers, Cub Scouts, and up, it's all the same throughout. And for us, we are hoping to start opening Beavers, and fingers crossed for Cubs as well. And then as that kind of gets going, we'll see what the opportunity is for Scouts. Also, it's good to note that you can be a volunteer with Scouts Canada at 14 years old. So if we don't have obviously, we're not probably going to open a venture company anytime soon, but if you do have 14-year-olds in your community, in your household that want to volunteer, we would love to speak to them about that, because that's a really cool thing they get to do as well. A little bit about badges. So we always associate scouting with badges. So this speaks a little bit about what kind of things we would do for badges. But badges is really just a symbol of learning in progress, right? So outdoor adventure skills are what we associate with that core sort of, old school scouting, which is outdoor skills, survival skills, and understanding how to be safe outdoors, right? So they go from actually levels 1 to 9, which is great, because if you start in Beavers and you go all the way up, you certainly have a lot of time to work through each level, which gets progressively more difficult. But you can start at any age and start any kind of wherever your competencies happen to be, and then kind of build on those. So that's what's really great about these. And so of course, paddling, aquatics, emergency skills, emergency first aid, winter skills, camping, trail skills, vertical skills, sailing, and scoutcraft. And these are the 9 the 9 areas of skills and competencies we will work with your children on. And then personal achievement badges. What's really neat about these is, whereas the outdoor adventure skills were competency based, and they have to be able to, so some of those are like, I know how to pack it, I know how to keep my tent clean, I know how to be safe around a fire, I've been on a 2-kilometer hike, etc. Personal achievement badges are, they get to decide what they want to do to earn the badge. So with Beavers, they get to pick 3 activities that they would like to do to earn the badge, and then they present it to us, and then, they go off and do the thing, and then get back to us with that. Same thing for Cubs and Scouts. It's the same idea. You pick the topic, then you decide what you want to do to earn that badge, and then you work on it. So that's what's really neat about these. All right, so that's kind of just, in general, some stuff about the program itself, which, again, it doesn't matter what age you happen to be, Beavers, Cub Scouts, same kind of framework, but just different varies of um, responsibility and sort of what's the word I'm thinking of? Anyway, that you get the idea, I hope. So, all right, so this is a little bit more. So this next section is, if you're interested in sticking around for this, is how to become a scouter. And I do kind of want to add that if you do want to become a volunteer with us, please let me know, and I'm going to help you out through all the next steps. But this is just going to give you an idea of what that onboarding looks like, and the sort of things that we expect from you, and you can expect from us in terms of helping you through this phase. So. There are some things you need to do, as you can appreciate, because again, we're a youth serving organization. We sign a code of conduct every year. That's for all volunteers, but a new volunteer would do it when they begin their application. And so that just outlines the expected behaviors, and that will come up for you when you sign on the first time. And that's, again, every scouter has to do that every single year when we're part of this organization. You need to submit a police record check with vulnerable sector screening. Unfortunately, we cannot take a check that you've done recently for another organization. It has to be a new one that says it's for Scouts Canada. That is actually a rule from the Canadian. There's a records act that has to do with it, but it's not necessarily it is not our rule. It is a federal kind of rule that we need to follow. So but we can certainly help you with getting that check, and we have everything you need to do that. An interview, that's between yourself and two volunteers or two staff people who have the special training to conduct these interviews, and they have the sort of questions that you would expect, and it usually takes about a half an hour to 45 minutes. And it's a lot of questions like, tell me about yourself, what would you hope to learn from this, how do you see scouting helping your community, tell us about a role model you had, and that kind of thing, right? So we get to know you a bit, and there's also, of course, a great opportunity for you to ask questions as well about the expectations of the role too. Reference checks, I can walk you through that when we need to do that, but you would need to provide the names of 5 people who can speak to your character, and 2 of whom would need to have known you for 5 years at least, and no family members by blood, birth, or marriage are allowed to be your referees. So just off the top, so you know that, because that saves us some time later on. We don't have to go switching things around. So, and the scouting fundamentals training, which is includes that respect in sport I mentioned before. It's part of that training too, and it's some online modules that kind of give you the gist of what scouting is about, and what you need to know to get started. So that's what the kind of in general, that's what you're going to need to be doing to start to be active. And then we say, you're done, great, now you're active and you can begin actually working with youth once these steps are completed. But again, when you're interested, just reach out to me and I'll work with you on all these steps as well. So the other thing that's important to note is none of these steps are completed in any special order. If you were to say apply today, you could start training immediately. It's all available online once you do register. And then we would reach out to ensure we do your interview. We schedule the interview. We help you with the police record check, and that sort of thing. And then, it could be done over a weekend. I have seen people do it before. It's pretty miraculous sometimes. But ideally, we'd have all these steps kind of completed within a month, at least within a month at the most, but hopefully in a couple weeks as well. I do recognize that it might be difficult because we all have busy lives and that kind of thing. But again, please speak to me. Happy to walk you through this some stuff. And like I said, all this stuff, pretty much what I just talked about. Ongoing development and support. This is actually going to be really great for this group, because part of this opening these new sections is we're assigning a staff member to work with you directly that will be working with the new volunteers together, and teaching you all sorts of cool stuff as well. Anyway, so here's some more info, and that's all I got for you. Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. And certainly do call me if you need anything. Please email. Just as a word of caution, though, I'm going to be away for 2 weeks starting May, whatever next Monday is, May 5th, May 6th. then back after Victoria Day. So if I do not get back to you, if you reach out to me at that time, it's only because I'm away. But please send me something if you would like. And I really look forward to hearing from you. And thanks again.